You say you love Native American legends. Have you heard of GoatMan? No? Then please allow me to enlighten you. I heard the legend when a power outage when our reservation made us decide to have a fire. As we all know, nothing goes better with a good fire than a good story. That was where I learned about GoatMan. The legend goes that they shapeshift. They love human forms most of all, which is what makes them so dangerous. It's thought that if you find a bone of one or take a photograph and keep it in your house, it will wait. For what, you ask? The answer is they wait for you to leave. Once you leave, they ransack the place until they find what you took from them. There was even an incident I heard that night, where some men met the GoatMan face to face. It was a night like the one I was expecting. Some men had decided to have a fire in the desert and told some stories around it. Then a stranger walked out of the desert and took a seat, never speaking a word. No one really got a good look at the stranger. One man brought up the legend of the GoatMan, causing the stranger to listen a little more closely. At the end, the other men nervously laughed, and the stranger still silent. The men decided to go back to their homes and put the fire out. They didn't have enough room for the stranger, and figured he could hitchhike back to town. They had just left when they saw something chasing after the truck. Afraid, they sped up. The pursuing thing sped up as well. When it reached the truck, it flipped it over and dragged 3 men off into the night. What happened to them? You ask. Well, they were never found. Be careful of the GoatMan. They can shapeshift, didn't I tell you? That homeless man begging for change could be one. Or your boss, teacher, friend. In September 1952, a UFO is reported to have crashed in the forest by some people living in Flatwoods, a small town in Braxton County, Virginia. A 17-year-old National Guardsman, Eugene "Jeannie" Lemon, was sent to investigate the phenomenon by authorities. According to some eyewitnesses, the so-called UFO crashed in the woods, so Jeannie and his dog went to investigate the woods. It was 8 o'clock at night and very dark, so Jeannie brought him a flashlight with him. Jeannie's dog ran ahead of him out of sight and began barking. When the dog returned to Jeannie with his tail in between his legs, it was frightened by something. They then reached the top of the hill, where they noticed a large, clustering ball of flame. Jeannie and his dog also detected a pungent mist or odor in the air that made their eyes and nose burn. Jeannie caught a glimpse of a strange creature underneath the oak tree. In the light of his flashlight, the creature was reptilian-like and had a spade-shaped head, stubby arms, claws like fingers, and was reported 10 feet tall. The creature was reported to have made a shrill hissing noises and glided towards their direction. It then changed direction and headed towards the clustering ball of flame. After this, Jeannie and his dog fled in a panic, scared out of their wits. After this encounter, the police investigated the area in the forest where the creature and the ball of flame were reported to be, but they found no evidence of the encounter and did not even smell the burning odor that Jeannie and his dog had smelled. Jeannie became very sick and suffered from vomiting and convulsing through the night, and he also had difficulties with his throat for several weeks afterwards. Jeannie's dog also became very sick, and it died. 60 years have passed since that incident, but the case of Flatwoods Monster is still unexplained. What was the Flatwoods Monster, really?